again. It's that time. It's Sunday evening. You got your family around the table. It's a Norman Rockwell moment. Bunch of kids are outside a watering hole. His dad's got a pipe in his mouth and tune the radio dial to the Rage Select podcast for all your brand new fancy news and other things and such. Hi everybody. It's that time again. I'm Jeff.
Hi, Amanda.
And it is time for the Rage Select podcast. And we have, I would hesitate to call it a crap load. I think we're actually looking at a shit ton of trailers this week. Just trailers and more trailers and information and more information and trailers and information.
Yeah, everyone wanted us to watch a new video this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Which video is that?
All the trailers that they posted.
Oh.
Everyone's like, have you seen my thing? But what about my thing? And I'm like, I don't want to see all these things.
Yep. And I think that before we start, the one thing I want to get at, I would like to just briefly state is that there is some... You and I actually alluded to it briefly on another video. I'm pretty sure everybody in the world already knows about this. There's some news about a certain British TV show and things that are happening on it. We're not going to talk about that because I really still consider it a spoiler. In fact, it just really makes me angry because this information...
Is us not talking about it?
No, we're not going to talk about what it actually is.
I got you.
But I would, let's we won't spend too much time because, as I said before, we have roughly 1 billion miles to walk down to get this road. But, I'm just very sad that this thing, I'm not going to get to just see it happen and go, what?
It couldn't have happened organically as a surprise for you while watching the show as opposed to a press conference, essentially.
Yes.
Or, a little, trailer not even a trailer, it's an announcement video.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't
unnecessary.
I didn't even watch it. It's just, I guess.
I mean, it didn't matter because everyone, every artist I follow on Instagram drew something from that.
Oh.
So even if you were like, I don't follow the news sources or I don't follow blogs, I don't follow anything, every single artist I follow had a drawing. And it all said the same thing where it was like, this is announced, this is what it is. And it's so, I mean, even if you wanted to avoid it, you can't avoid it. You can't.
And we're not going to spend too long on this, but I do want to reiterate for the fifth time, I kind of want to put a few statements together about spoilers. Okay. People who don't care about spoilers. Okay. I understand that you don't care about spoilers, but the thing to understand is that for those of us who do care about spoilers and that information, and I'm not, this didn't even hit me. This hit me from a video game news website and Google. So I'm not singling out Facebook or people or anybody, right? But once a thing is spoiled, you can't unspoil it.
Right.
There is no way for me to not know the information about Doctor Who that I now know. So if you don't care about spoilers, that's great for you. But for those of us who do care about spoilers, I just don't understand why, spoilers don't negatively impact you who don't care about them. They do negatively impact people who do care about them because we now live in a world that is so callous about spreading this information around, as you rightly pointed out, from the source. Not even a scoop, not even a leak.
You can't, I mean, the problem with being mad at anybody that was posting it is the fact that it came straight from the BBC. So it's not, so no one's thinking of it as a spoiler.
Right.
It is a huge spoiler and it shouldn't have been brought up. It would have been better for them to have it be announced when everyone sees the Christmas episode or whatever is going to happen.
It'll be on Christmas.
So
I think, I don't know.
Whenever, I don't know. But yeah, so it would have been a bigger deal, I think, if it happened when it happened as opposed to months before.
Right. But I guess what I'm just trying to get across is the equation here is that when people who don't care about spoilers don't learn spoilers, their life isn't changed in any way, shape, or form. They didn't know a thing. They still don't know a thing. When they find out spoilers, they don't care. When people who do care about spoilers don't find out about spoilers, their lives are not changed. But when they do,
it just ruins it.
It ruins it. If there were huge articles, I went through a Patreon video that we put up where Matt Frank was talking about a person who was in the Mummy movie that was out. This is a garbage movie, right? Nobody cares.
Yeah, I don't
But
think anybody actually
I went
watched
through
it.
and bleeped out this name because, like, if you cared about the Mummy movie and you wanted to go see it, I'd like you to be able to go, oh, look, you know. But, you know, if before Empire Strikes Back came out, there was, like, you know, all this shit on the internet about, like, oh, man, can you believe that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad?
Yeah.
Like, well, then nobody, you know, you're going to go in and, like, all of the tension and whatever is going to be, you know, especially be like George Lucas is giving an interview on TV and he's just like, well, I always said, I'm sorry, I can't do George Lucas.
That was good for a second, but I was like, if you go through this entire thing doing that, George Lucas.
He's like, well, you know, I always thought that I wanted to tell the story about who Luke Skywalker's dad, and I think the audiences will really enjoy the fact that it's Darth Vader, and that'll be really interesting to them.
Yeah.
We'd all just be like, what the hell,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, you lose something really important from that story.
So I'm just venting because I mean, like, nobody in Rage Select has spoiled anything for me. So if
Yeah.
you're listening to this, like, hey, good on you. You didn't do anything.
Kudos to all of you.
But I just don't like the fact that it seems like more and more we're just moving to a world where the I don't care about spoiler contingent has won because in the race to get clicks as fast as possible and for things, the only way to avoid it would be to not be on the internet, because I don't follow moviespoilers.com on Twitter, Game Informer, where I just like to see the daily gaming news come through.
Yeah.
They posted this and they weren't coy about it. It was a big picture with a headline that by the time I'd read 4 words, I was like, well, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, now it's done and I know it and I can't pretend like I don't know it. So anyway, also I went to a water park last week.
Oh, yeah? How was that? How sunburnt did you get, my white friend?
Really sunburned. Quick life hack for those at home: that spray aerosol suntan lotion bullshit. I don't think it really works. I think it's just cooking oil, or
It actually made it worse. Now
yeah.
you just smelled like bacon.
It might
by
just
the
be
end of the day.
water. It might just be yeah.
I've used that aerosol spray sunscreen, and it works for me as long as you reapply. You can't just be like one and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be like a mom with like a small child, where you're like psh, every 2 minutes just respraying.
No, I got a sunburn on one arm and not the other.
So it worked on one arm.
Yeah, it worked on one arm really well.
99% effective.
Yep. Burn the top of my feet.
Yeah, nice. That's always a good one.
Flip flops at a water park, hard to deal with, especially because you have to, like, every time you're going to go in the water, you got to take them off and then you got to put them back on whenever you get out. That's a little bit of pain. You got to hold them.
Yeah.
Like, you're going down the
You're
thing.
like,
You're like, ah, yeah.
Yeah, and you have flip flops on. Your hands. So you need swim shoes, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Or you can walk around barefoot like I used to when I was a kid.
Like a dirty hippie.
Yep.
And an Austin water park. I don't know if that's what
I'm sorry. This is a New Braunfels water park. It's the hottest,
I've
coolest
never-
time in Texas.
I've never been.
Schlitterbahn.
Doesn't matter. I was more of a Raging Waters and San Dimas person.
Yeah.
San Dimas, California.
Where Bill and Ted went to high school.
Yes, where Bill and Ted went to high. I went to high school next to where Bill and Ted went to high school.
Yeah, Wild Stallions.
Yeah.
I think it's the second time this week that Bill and Ted have come up on
I
this
think
show.
if you watch our Doom sequential episode,
Is that what we were talking about?
we
Ed?
talked about the first thing, and we talked about this.
Okay,
and we're,
great.
Yeah.
Just reiterating everything.
Yeah, well, now
Sorry.
it's just a longer version of it. You get like the Cliff Notes in Doom.
No, the thing is that I have been going to Schlitterbahn. It's amazing. I am almost 40. I'm just around one, what month is it? I'm like 8-9 months away from being 40. I've been going to Schlitterbahn since I was like 7. So, they have the old part of the park that's garbage. It was great in like 1984.
I was gonna say when you were 7, was that like the best?
Yeah. But now it's just not really that great.
Now it's got lasers and future technology.
The other side has a water roller coaster that literally goes up.
Yeah,
and
that doesn't
down.
make sense to me. You told me about it yesterday, and I was like, that doesn't sound possible.
Dude, we went on one that had a lot of like going up, and the way they do that is that you're in this inner tube and they're shooting water under the inner tube to
What
get
if you're like super fat?
you can't go on it then.
Are they like, ooh, buddy.
Well, there's a thing that says like you can't go on if you're over 400 pounds, and then these things are set up to have 2 people. It's a double inner tube for 2 people to go, and so it's like if your combined weight is over 400, or if any one person weighs more than 250, you're not supposed to go, even though they weren't exactly like checking. And I don't know, I could be over 250, Anyway, we went on the last one that we went was this dragon thing. And I swear to God, my swim trunks that I bought because I needed some were a little bit loose. And I spent the entirety of that last ride with like one hand on the inner tube handle and the other hand
holding your
keeping
shorts.
my shorts from getting just blown off me into the distance.
Amazing.
It was
This
pretty.
would have been a much better story if you're like, and by the time I got to the bottom,
Yep.
I didn't have bottoms.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's expensive. I didn't realize this now.
Is it?
I mean, what if I said to you, hey, we're going to go to the hottest, coolest time in Texas with the water park this weekend. How much would you pay to go and just enter this water park?
$20.
Just think again.
Or like 25. If it's like if I'm actually guessing
Yeah.
versus what I would be willing to pay,
Yeah.
$45.
$50.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a little much.
I could take that $50 and buy a fan and a bottle of water and just douse myself with water and sit in front of my fan and have the coolest, wettest time.
You do know that the point of a water park isn't just like you got wet. Like that was.
Yeah, no, it's
It's
standing.
not Denzel
it's
Washington rules.
It's standing in line and just getting a sunburn, right? With a bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
I could go to Zilker Park and do all of this for free.
You know, the main problem is that they instituted this new blast pass system where like if you pay extra,
you get blasted.
You get this little waterproof watch that you can go up to the ride and program a time, and then you just walk up and walk right in front of everybody else.
Do you give them the finger when you do that?
It's just, I would, but yeah, it was. We waited for like 90 minutes to get on the uphill roller coaster one at the end, like just standing in the sun, baking to redness.
Sounds like a blast for $50.
Yeah, and then also somebody in the line in front of us threw up. That was nice.
Cool.
But
none of this sounds like it's worth $50.
Well, there was all the other stuff.
And there's like a bunch of people in bathing suits that you get to look at, and I'm sure everyone there looked really entertaining in their bathing suit.
It was an interesting assortment of humanity.
Just because I that's where Austinites go. That's all I ever fucking hear.
What?
Is Schlitterbahn, and all these people that I know in Austin always go once a year. They have to go. And all of the ones that I've seen say it, that are like coworkers or former former coworkers or like people I associate with, not the people I want to see in bikinis or Speedos.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're the kind of people that wear the Speedos.
I don't know. It was a large variety of people.
Yeah.
Some were very good looking. Some were not so good looking. Some were not so good looking and wearing inappropriate swim gear. Some were not so good looking and were wearing appropriate swim gear. And all the colors of the swimwear body type rainbow.
Yay.
So, but I also am kind of the impression of just like, I can keep my eyes to myself, right? Like, it was a little weird though. Because I didn't. There's a thing that you could buy. I didn't realize this until because it's been like maybe 5 or 6 years since I've been to that place. You could buy a thing to put your cell phone in that would keep it waterproof. That had like a lock at the top of it, but I didn't get that. I got a cheaper version, and I didn't trust it to keep my cell phone, so I put my cell phone away. So from like 12:30 until like 7 in the evening when we were getting ready to leave, I just didn't have a cell phone on me. It was interesting. It was.
Did you like reach for it every once in a while and it wasn't there because it was put away?
No, but see, I think that it's because I'm not doubling down on technology. I'm divorcing myself from it. Like I use my cell phone primarily as a book substitute. So you could hand me a paperback to keep in my pocket, and it'd be about what I use my phone for now, outside of messaging people and whatnot.
Right.
But it was interesting to look around. I did find it. The folks that I was there with, I felt like there were some long stretches of no conversation, but also nothing else. So it was just like standing in line silently waiting.
Oh, man.
Which is
you
a little
didn't
strange.
like go straight into podcast mode where you're like, too much dead air.
It did make me scratch a little bit, and I threw out a few. I threw some chum in the water to see if anybody would.
Do you guys ever just wonder why they spit on dicks and porn and just see what happens to the crowd around you?
That's not usually my opener.
That's totally my go-to. You know the kind of people you're with when that's the first thing you start with your conversation.
I mean, we were also waiting in line with like a bunch of parents with children and stuff like that. I'll tell you what, for a Monday, Tuesday. We went on a Monday.
Yeah.
That shit was
Packed.
packed.
Yeah.
Like to the gills.
I'm surprised because it rained like 2 days before that.
Yeah. Well, enough about my water park shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
We have trailers, but why don't we talk about another trailer first? Why don't we talk about one other trailer? Last week, the trailer for the new Tick live action Amazon series dropped, and this is you call this the third incarnation of the Tick comic, animated. Patrick Warburton,
Right. So this is would that make it the fourth? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And it's funny. I was actually thinking about how, you know how everybody talks about how like Superman's a boring piece of shit because he's invincible and nothing ever happens to him.
Yeah.
The Tick is invincible.
Yeah.
Like nothing bad ever happens to him.
Yeah.
So like, why don't you just write Tick stories for Superman?
Just because the Tick is also like a bumbling fool.
What if a Bizarro became the new Superman? An evil, like, give me my quote fingers here. An evil Bizarro became the new Superman, and then it was like, and then there was like a Robin, like played the part of Arthur, like a new Robin or a new Superboy.
Yeah.
That was like his sidekick trying to keep him on the straight and narrow. I think that'd be a great story. I would totally read that.
There's a comic about it was a short-lived comic, beautiful art. I can't think of the name of the artist. About Bizarro and Jimmy Olsen traveling across the United States, and
like a road trip buddy movie.
Yeah. I forgot what it was, but they were trying to get Bizarro out of Metropolis, and I think they were trying to get him someplace so that he could go home.
Uh-huh.
And the entire time, obviously, crazy, wacky hijinks happened. They discover the Chupacabra, which Bizarro kept as a pet. And it's adorable. It's actually a great story because it kind of comes off that way, that Bizarro is the superhero and Jimmy Olsen's trying to keep him on the straight and narrow.
I can see it. I've always been a bigger fan of Jimmy Olsen than Rick Jones. I think Rick Jones is a tool. Anyway, the Tick trailer.
Yes.
You seemed meh.
I didn't like the jokes.
Okay.
I just didn't think it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like they gave him one-liners that none of them hit for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't a Tick fan though, so like none of it was like I watched John watch that same trailer, and it really like you could kind of see it in his eyes that he was very like, oh man, I'm really psyched for this, and I was just like, meh.
Yeah. I think I liked it, but it's an Amazon
Prime
show,
Yeah.
and I'm just not. I got Netflix and Hulu, and I'm sorry, Amazon, you're my third choice, and I just can't justify spending like Crunchyroll every so often. I'm like, I should get Crunchyroll, and then like after 12 days, I'm like, I should cancel my Crunchyroll subscription. I'm interested in it. I like what I'm seeing. I do hope that they do something. Like, I thought that I'm a little conflicted because the animated Tick is one of my favorite shows. It came out at just the right time when I was a tween, and
Right.
the humor was perfect for me. Like Chairface Chippendale and Professor Monkey for Head, and all the crazy nonsense.
Yeah.
Loved it. The live action Tick came out, and I was like, "Boo on this! I don't care. This is going to be terrible." And then Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, of course.
How could you not?
It was great. Yeah.
And I remember when I was watching it, and I was like, because in the Tick animated series, it was Der Fledermaus was like their Batman. It was like American made and Der Fledermaus, and that was like Wonder Woman and Batman that then got to play off of the Tick.
Yeah.
And then in the live action series, it was Batman Well.
Yeah, he was great.
And it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't. So I don't know. I'll give it a shot because I wrote the Tick off once and I was wrong. So we'll see. I think it looks real fun. So.
I'm willing to give it a shot. I just didn't think the trailer was good.
Okay. Well, are you ready to give Kingdom Hearts 3 a shot as well?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm psyched for it. Yay.
You don't have to pretend.
This is my
this website is
genuine voice.
Is kind of like
this is how I sound when I'm being sincere.
Is it? I don't.
No.
Okay.
When John and I get married, that's how I'm going to sound.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be your wife.
From the first day we met, I knew you were the one.
I was like, yay.
Yeah.
Love.
Oh, hurrah. I know what I want to do with my life. Toy Story. So this trailer is it's not a trailer. This comes from Disney's D23
Yeah, they're like
celebration.
convention.
Yeah, which is one of those like I don't know what that is. But one of the big things here is this is the first time that Pixar has been in Kingdom Hearts, and this is Toy Story Land, where Woody and Buzz and the whole Toy Story gang and Sora and Goofy and Donald are all little action figures, and they're trying to. There's a thing and. There's a problem at the toy store, so we're going to go to the toy store.
They're looking for their missing friends or whatever.
Yep, which involves like literally climbing out the window onto the roof and then having like a big superhero fuck off battle in the like.
Yeah, and yeah,
I can just imagine
there's like a drill for some reason.
Okay, so here's what I want. Like what I'm talking about is in this trailer, they go from Andy's room out the window, and then like in the parking lot, they're all tiny. And they're little tiny Heartless out there, and they're fighting the tiny Heartless.
Yeah.
This is all I can think of. Next door, Sid is in his room. It's been a long road, but after 6 months of therapy and some SSRIs, he's finally gotten to a point where he's ready to go outside. And Sid's parents are like, honey, do you think it's all right? He's like, no, I know what happened, but I've got to get over this. I have to get my life back. I have to do it, Mom and Dad. And they're like, okay, we'll be in the next room if you need us. And he opens the door and he sees all these toys just flying around, smashing the shit out of each other. And then he just is like, just closes the door and is like, fuck. And that's it.
How did it go, honey? I'll be in my room.
Be in my room forever. No, apparently one of the big things, and I really wasn't getting this out of the other trailers, maybe because I wasn't paying attention, but I think I was paying attention, but my brain just strokes off when this is going on because I can't keep track of all the things happening on the screen at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that the Sora's different Keyblades transform into different other things.
More powerful Keyblade.
Yeah, so it looks like, you know, this starts out with a regular Keyblade, and then, like, he's got a certain amount of time, it looks like, where he can change it into this Hyper Hammer, and there's, like, a Mega Drill, and a bunch of different kind of, like, things that he could transform into. And in an interview, I think it's Tetsuya Nomura is the guy that's making this, was like, there's going to be a bunch of different ones. They're going to be dependent on the individual places. They're all going to have different kind of, like, thematic elements to them.
Well, yeah, because clearly this one has, like, a rocket for Buzz and then the shield, the sheriff's badge for Woody, until it turns into a drill for some reason. Why does it turn into a drill?
Because
I don't understand. I don't remember the part. I didn't watch the last Toy Story, but I don't remember a Toy Story drill. Just throwing that out there. Unless that's like some power move or something.
You don't remember Drillby, the
That sounds like a real character.
I do like at the end though too. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know anything about what's going on here. Every time there's a trailer for Kingdom Hearts, it means nothing to me. Like the what's going on screen might as well just be like all the lights and colors in the world. Or no, the dialogue, the plot.
Yeah.
But like there's this part where he's driving around a little mech in a toy store, blasting other little mechs in a toy store.
Yeah.
There's the part where they're out in the yard and they're fighting stuff. It all looks fun.
Yeah.
Like if I just played the game and then, you know, you kind of build up the systems and whatever, I don't really have any real conception of what this means. Like, but what does it mean for the franchise?
Yeah.
Because after all of this, which is really straightforward, Sora and Donald and Goofy go to Toy Story Land, and they're like, our friends are missing, and like, let's go on an adventure. And at the very end, one of these fucking Organization 13 yahoos shows up to say, one's heart's shadows fills the emptiness of another. See how they bring him to life? And I'm just like, the words don't make any sense anymore. And at that point, words stopped making sense. So I hope that the fun, hey, look, it's a Disney thing is the primary thing in the game, and that it isn't too much of this horse shit sorry, Kingdom Hearts fans, I don't know the thing, but it's just, it goes from a lighthearted, fun Disney thing to some kind of like anime, serious, gravelly talk about hearts and reality, and we've got to do a thing, and it's just like, ugh. So, but we'll get to find out. We now have a release window of next year. So that's also
the
another
small
thing.
window of next year.
Well, let's see. I think that there's actually did they say I feel like they said like a kind of a month like a window. It was smaller than next. It was smaller than just all of 2018.
Yeah. Was it like first quarter next year?
Let's find out. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, well, I don't know. Wait, hold on.
Should I be vamping while this is happening?
Maybe.
Should I be talking to the audience while this is happening?
Depends on what you're going to talk about.
I was probably just spitting on dicks and porn. That's all I have. It's really all I have about myself.
Below. No. Okay, I'm getting this website. God damn, this website sucks nuts.
Ooh.
I can't get it to...
It's not even centered.
No. Okay, never mind. It's just 2018. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Sorry.
It's fine.
Also, the Gummy Ship is back. So
yay.
everybody can say, huzzah, it's been confirmed the Gummy Ship is back.
So excited about the Gummy Ship. I don't know what that is.
It's a ship that you fly between the different levels. It's a little thing. It's like a little Lego ship that the gummy bears make, and you can put different guns and stuff on it, and there's a little, like, scrolling, shooting segments where you move between the different worlds and you blow stuff up and you get like money and you get upgrade points. And
I feel like I'm talking to somebody on acid. The Care Bears built like a little Lego ship so you can go betwixt.
Oh wait. No, it's not Gummy Bears. It's Chip and Dale.
The Rescue Rangers.
Yes, I believe it's the Rescue Rangers.
Well, that makes more sense.
I think
it all makes sense. It all falls together when you switch it up like that.
Yeah. I didn't make it up. I'm just telling you what it is. There are people in the audience listening who are just like yeah!
Pulling their hair out.
Yeah. So anyway, let's stop talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 because obviously neither one of us are like the world's biggest fans.
Sorry, Kingdom Hearts fans. Don't hate us.
We'll play it eventually, and I will invite Grant back and not tell him what game we're playing. I will do that. Okay, so let's talk about BioWare.
Okay.
Let's talk about BioWare. So Aaron Flynn is the person that took over when the doctors left BioWare, was like 2-3 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Flynn has decided that he wants to leave BioWare.
Mm-hmm.
And so BioWare needs a new CEO, and that CEO is Casey Hudson.
What do I know Casey Hudson from?
Casey Hudson is part of BioWare for a long time. Mm-hmm. Was like project director for Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3. There was a not disturbing, but there is a thread that I have not followed, but the water cooler talk is that after Mass Effect 2, that one of the writers got sidelined and Casey Hudson took over a lot of the plotting for Mass Effect 3, and that people would come to him and say, we don't think people are going to like this dumb Star Child thing, and he would be like, well, they can go fuck themselves. This is what we're working up to. This is what we're putting in, and he refused to listen to anybody. There was some plotting elements that apparently he like shoved to one side to make room for his, I don't know how much of this is true.
Yeah, it's pure speculation.
It's not. There's reports out there. It's just I haven't.
Vague speculation.
It's the internet. You have to like find out if that person said it and then try to source it all the way back to like who they talked to originally and like were they being paraphrased or whatever. But a lot of people have placed the blame for why Mass Effect 3 sucked at the feet of Casey Hudson. So now, and he also apparently did the plotting and like setup on Anthem before he left BioWare. Like, what was it, like a year ago or something like that? And now he's back.
Guess who's back?
So, yeah, this is going to happen at the end of July. BioWare is a company that I cannot trust anymore, basically.
Yeah.
It used to be that if BioWare put a game out, I was going to play it regardless. This happened to me with LucasArts and a few other companies over the years. There used to be companies out there where every single game that they put out, I knew I would play. After Mass Effect 3, and then going into... No, after Dragon Age 1 and moving forward, BioWare started to become a little bit spottier. Like, I didn't really like Dragon Age 1, but I know why I didn't like it, because I'm not the biggest fan of Baldur's Gate style games, and that's what that was a love letter to old Baldur's Gate style video games.
Right.
But then Dragon Age 2 came out, and then Mass Effect 3 came out, and then Dragon Age Inquisition, Mass Effect Andromeda, and stuff like this, and I just don't have... Like, people are like, are you excited about Anthem? And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like the last 4 games they put out have been like a misstep. So
Fool me once.
Right.
Fool me 4 other times.
Yeah. So I'm willing to give Anthem a chance, but they've kind of, like, there was a postmortem on Kotaku that I was reading last week about the Mass Effect Andromeda development that just made it sound like a complete shit show.
Yeah.
Where they were just diverting resources away from that game to work on this new game because nobody cared. They were just like, we don't really want to make this game, but we're going to make it. It changed hands like 3 times, and people kept getting diverted off of it. So I guess what I'm saying is that I feel like this news, I'm not exactly just like, no, they were doing so well, don't put Casey Hudson in charge, because they've kind of ruined their reputation for me to the point where I'll take... They're like an EA. You take each game as it comes, and you go, that one looks like shit, and that one looks good, and whatever. Is any of this? Does there just mean anything to you?
It does. I mean, we tried to do a sequential of Andromeda. So yeah. I mean, it's just, you're saying what I'm thinking. I mean, I had no loyalty one way or another for BioWare, but when it comes to the current games that have been coming out, nothing's been appealing. Even Andromeda, which was something that I was really excited for, fell real flat and isn't worth the time and effort you'd have to put in to make it a good game.
Yeah.
Because everyone, we especially because we dropped it as a sequential, was really mad at us for not keeping up with it and putting in the extra work. And it's like, if you do all of this extra stuff, it's actually an enjoyable game. And it's like, I shouldn't have to force a game to be enjoyable. It should be fairly enjoyable with little effort.
I didn't have to force myself to like Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Hell, I liked Mass Effect 3 more than I liked Mass Effect Andromeda.
I like Mass Effect 3. I actually like Mass Effect 3, period. And sentence,
no qualifier.
Yeah, no, yeah. I actually liked it. I understand that the ending was bad, but I mean, the whole rest of the experience was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a huge, it didn't ruin it for me.
Yeah, and I don't know. There was a Gamasutra article that I was reading a while back that was talking about, is fandom ruining video games? And it was talking about Mass Effect Andromeda. And in there, again, the person writing the article was like, after about 15 hours, it picks up and it gets pretty good. And then by the time I was done with it, I had a good experience.
I work a 40-hour-a-week job that I have to, sleep and, take care of a dog. And I don't have any time. I don't have a lot of time to...
No. Let me sum it up the way that I've started to sum it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste 15 hours of this mortal life that I have.
I can't waste 15 hours to play that game for it to get good and then continue to play, because Jeff's going to die.
Because I'm going to die, you guys. Well, especially because we're living in an age where you could be playing Overwatch, or you could be playing, Dark Souls, or you could be playing whatever you want to play, right?
Exactly,
you could be replaying Saints Row 4 and having a fucking great time, right? As opposed to forcing yourself to play a game that, JRPGs have this thing where you need to put in hours of you need to put some patient cultivation in up front.
Yeah.
But not that much. Persona 5 doesn't take that long to be like, oh, well, it's slow moving, but there are hooks in it where it's like, oh, well, what's happening? Why is this kid in the city? What's with the weird velvet room?
In my experience with the rando JRPGs that you throw at me in some sort of horrible fit of rage,
yeah.
Even if it's kind of boring for me because I never really wanted to get invested in that game anyway. What they're throwing at you in the beginning, even if it's a very slow to start before it gives you any action, is a lot of plot and world building stuff.
Yeah.
And Mass Effect kind of didn't feel like it did that, or Andromeda didn't really feel like it did that. So I was like, I had to be invested in characters that they like gave me 2 seconds with, or
it seemed to ride really hard on the coattails of previous Mass Effect to just be like, aren't you so glad to be playing this game again? And it was like, well, not if you don't have anything. Like, I don't know. Anywho.
Also, I want to fuck a Krogan. That should be thrown out there.
Okay. FYI, everybody, just, now you know. Atari is making a new console.
Why?
That is an excellent question. So this week, we got some pictures of this thing. There's not really any real there's not any real specs on it.
Look at that wood graining.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice. I like
so
that
let's
finish.
see. It says our objective is to create a new product that stays true to our heritage while appealing to both old and new fans of Atari. This is called the Atari box. It'll be available in wood or in red and black.
In future red.
Yep.
Or wood.
No specs, but we know there's going to be an SD slot, HDMI output, and 4 USB ports. Another quote from this newsletter. As you can guess, those ports suggest modern internal specs. It means that that while we will be delivering classic gaming content, we will also be delivering current gaming content.
So is this an Atari Ouya?
I don't fucking know. The strange thing is that this is from Eurogamer, and there's an update on this as of a while back, where a detail that was left out of this whole thing is that apparently this thing is going to be a crowdsourced project.
Oh.
So
it is an Ouya Atari.
To limit risk-taking, the product will initially be launched within the framework of a crowdfunding campaign. So Atari wants to make, what is this? A Retron Atari plus it can play what?
Yeah.
Like what else does it play?
I don't understand.
And then we're all going to have to put up cash?
Yeah, they want us to pay.
The fuck? Like I just
what backer reward do I get for that wood grain finish?
I don't know. Well, the thing is that I actually think that the unit itself is kind of nice looking,
slick and stylish.
Yeah,
I'm not into it. It just looks like a vent you would attach to a laptop to make sure it doesn't overheat.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks like a cooling pad.
Yeah, it just it doesn't look like anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It
doesn't scream I'm gonna game the fuck out on this. It just screams like it won't take up a lot of space on my shelf.
Well, it looks like an Atari 2600, right? Like the Atari 2600 had the grain on the front and had black, and then where this ridge was where the connections and everything was. So it's I don't know. I kind of like the design, but again, Atari, first off, I'm going to need some more information than what you just told me.
Well, I'm sure we'll get more when they launch the Kickstarter.
The Kickstarter?
Okay. GoFundMe or whatever.
Yeah. It's a GoFundMe so they can just keep the money when it doesn't get funded.
I mean, if they're smart, that's what they'll do.
Yeah. Speaking of things that are red and black, Star Wars.
That could have been anything.
That could have been a lot of things, but it's the Imperial Special Forces Division of Star Wars Battlefront 2 as we head into our trailers. We got a whole behind the scenes kind of looking at stuff, talking about the different things. I think this looks really fun.
I'm shockingly psyched about this because I didn't give a flying fuck about the first game. But I love the bad guys.
Yep.
So and I'm all about playing as the baddies. So yeah.
I think it looks like an interesting setting, right? Like an interesting kind of protagonist and characters.
Yeah.
I am a little bit concerned. Well, not concerned, but okay. Let's do a thought experiment, okay? The main protagonist in Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a woman who was raised inside of the Empire, Special Forces Commando, who after the death of the Emperor is going out to seek revenge on the universe for destabilizing the Empire.
Correct.
Luke Skywalker's in the game. She's pointing a gun at him at some point in the trailer.
No.
Do you think that before the game is over, she's going to learn, oh, my life was a lie and the Empire is actually evil? I'm going to join the rebellion and switch sides. Because,
I hope not. I think it would be a better story if she doesn't.
Yeah.
Because if sometimes you can tell the same exact story from two different perspectives, and both people would be right.
Yeah.
I would love to find out that that's what happened. That from her perspective, they're the bad guys.
From my perspective,
you're the bad guy.
The rebels are the evil ones.
Yeah. I think it would be really cool. Maybe, I mean, even if it's just like her questioning this until whoever else comes into play and takes over between the time of Return of and Force Awakens. But
yeah.
I don't know. I hope for the best, because I would really hate to be a good guy by the end of this.
Yeah. I think I'm with you in that I think it looks real good. This had a lot of the motion capture actors, like I don't know why it is, but like the Frostbite engine always looks incredible in Star Wars. And I think it's because they got a chance early on when they were making Battlefront to like go to the big warehouse where all the Star Wars props are and like 3D scan all of the like the TIE fighters and the X-Wings and stuff, so that all their shit looks really Star Warsy and really good.
Yeah.
Like at the very beginning of this trailer, there's a point where she's jumping into a TIE fighter and turning knobs and stuff, and it looks so good. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
So
these are like the coolest knobs. I did make a note. Good knobs.
Look at those knobs. Holy
like, literally, you're seeing like a dogfight of like a bunch of ships, and like you're on Endor and crazy stuff's happening, and you're focused in on those knobs, huh?
I better get to shoot an Ewok. That's all I can say. Is if I don't get to shoot a bunch of Ewoks,
just as long as you don't get bested by their sticks and rocks, I'll be pretty happy.
Well, you know, what is her name, Jadia Shankar or whatever, is like a special forces commando, so hopefully she's had advanced training. The other stormtroopers have it about how not to get killed by sticks
and rocks
and rocks. So speaking of things that can break your bones, The Evil Within has a new Survive trailer. Evil Within 2, I should say, has a new Survive trailer that is 16 varieties of it's. I feel like it is 50% and 50% what?
Yeah.
Like, what did you think of this, Amanda? I feel like this one might be right up your alley.
If I saw this trailer, I would be like, I really, really, really want to play this game.
Yeah.
But I haven't played the first Evil Within. But from what I've been told by people who have, the gameplay is hard as fuck and very frustrating, and so it's became less appealing very quickly.
I've thought about going back and playing it again, but to refresh myself.
Sequential?
But on easy.
Oh, yeah?
Because it's hard, and I don't really have an interest in...
Yeah, because I think John tried it, and it was very like, the monster essentially looked at you, you're dead, move on. Like, try again.
It's a real sneaky, like, ammo hoarding kind of thing, but then, like...
So is this, like, your style? I know your horror is very survival...
Sort of.
Or is this to take it a little, like a step too far for that?
If I remember correctly, the issue that I had with the first one was that it was very surreal and it was hard to keep track of what was going on, for me at least. So
in like in
the story
sanity kind of way,
yeah. I mean,
because that kind of works. Like, I appreciate that idea. I mean, I like in this that like not every monster looks exactly the same. Not everything that's happening feels like it could be happening. Do you know what I mean? Like some of it feels like he's going crazy. Some of it feels like an actual monster's attacking him.
Well, if I'm not like in the first game, I feel like this is like the whole point of The Evil Within. I feel like is that it's like the Cell, where every game like takes place inside like the mind of a killer or a person.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, because it definitely has like a nightmare dream thing to it.
I think the very beginning of the game, like the very beginning of Evil Within, plays with that, and then very shortly after that, it's like, no, this is fucking not reality.
Okay.
I think that the issue that I had with Evil Within 1 was that I played it really quickly. There were some mechanics that I didn't really like, and it was exhausting. So it went on for like 12 or 14 hours, and I expected it to be like an 8-hour game.
Yeah.
And then maybe that was just because I died all the time. I don't know. It's been a long time.
They're like, it's actually a 20-minute game. You just keep fucking dying, Jeff.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I played it back in the Spill days. It's also possible I I'm a different person now than I was probably when I first played it, which is one of the reasons that I thought about going back.
A lot
and playing
more
it again.
emotional scarring.
That's correct. Yes, barely able to feel anything. But I don't know. I do like all the visuals in this. Look really funky and crazy.
Yeah, if this was a movie, I would watch the fuck out of it.
It kind of reminds me of Alan Wake a little bit, like some of the street scenes.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe. I thought like Silent Hill, Alan Wake.
Yeah.
A little Resident Evil tossed in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just toss them all together. Well, I'm pretty sure that the if I'm not mistaken, the developer is the guy that made Resident Evil 4.
Oh, that makes sense.
Let's see. Is it Resident Evil 4? Let me just make sure that I'm not talking directly out of my butthole. Yeah, Shinji Mikami.
Well, you'd have to change where you're holding your microphone if you are.
Oh, that's true. What?
What?
Oh, it just said he's the Japanese voice of one of the characters in Fallout 4. Like, he's a game director. He directed The Evil Within, Vanquish, God Hand, Resident Evil 4. He was a producer on Killer 7, Resident Evil Outbreak. He was director on Piano 3, the Resident Evil remake. You know, a lot of games that have good. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he was also on. Yeah, he's creative producer and did the battle system in Shadow of the Damned as well.
Okay,
which is why it plays halfway decent for a Suda51 game, because somebody who knew what the fuck they were doing built the combat system instead of letting him be like, you put the bat inside of your head and spin it around.
That's a fun kind of insanity that I can get behind.
Suda51's appearance at the Devolver Digital press conference, one of my favorite parts of E3 this year. Yeah. Well, from punching and stabbing demons to punching and stabbing people with masks on.
Mm-hmm. That's a mask? I thought it was a face hugger.
Nope. This is Absolver we're talking about, where we got a combat system trailer. This, I didn't tell Amanda anything about this. I just showed her this, which was, boy, it was full of just a lot of technical goop, right? Just a lot of talking and stuff. This is a Devolver Digital published game that's being put out, I think it's like next month, July, August, September maybe, where it's the whole kind of point of the game was taking the dueling combat system of like Dark Souls and then like spinning it out into its own kind of this hand-to-hand combat game where you're just going to be fighting people. There seems to be some kind of story going on. Like they talk in the trailer about like the Shklobovian Empire and the 12 stones of the hurricane or something.
Yeah, and like runes, tension stone.
Yeah. A lot of it is about these tension stones that appear. See, one of the things that I've noticed when I'm watching this is how there's no HUD, and I'm wondering if that's going to be the way the game is, and that the tension stones, the reason they float behind you is because they essentially are going to be. That's like how you know you can use them for powers and stuff like that. And there's going to be some other signifiers for like how much health you have or how much stamina you have or something like that. But it looks pretty cool. It really just depends on how good the combat system is, because if that's all there really is to the game is just walking through this world
and punching each other in the
punching
face.
And kicking and having duels with people, then if it's good, great. But if it's not super good, then it seems like it could get boring.
Because this was so just, and you can turn your tension stone into a weapon, and then sometimes the weapon can fall out of your hand. The combat didn't look particularly great. Only because it was clear that they were more just trying to show you what they were talking about and less about like them trying to be like, look how fun this is.
Yeah.
So it just was like, you're not selling me, but I feel like you're not trying to.
I feel like they were trying to sell it to me because that style of combat.
Well, that's dumb. They already know they have your money.
That style of combat looks like very much like Dark Souls, so it's kind of easier for me to follow the rhythm of what's going on in it. Anyway, we'll find out August 29th, so end of next month. Let's talk about Telltale for a second.
No, thanks.
For all of you people who, during our Minecraft, was like, rabble, where's Borderlands Season 2? That it's not a thing. Rabble, where's The Wolf Among Us Season 2? Well, that is a thing.
That is.
There's 3 new things coming. One of them is The Wolf Among Us Season 2, which will be in the second half of 2018. So
You got like a 6-month period that you got to
sit back down again. No, a 12-month period.
No, I just mean like the second half of 2018.
Oh, yes.
6 months, but any time within those.
Oh, it's also episodic, right? So one episode a month for 5 or 6 months. Yeah. So in roughly a year from now, over the course of 6 months, you can play Wolf Among Us 2.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Also, The Walking Dead is having its final season, releasing in 2018.
Yay! Final season. Woo!
Yep.
And that shit, shoot it in the head. Bury it underground.
Fucking Clementine is back again.
She a grandma now?
I don't care.
Good old Grandma Clementine.
And Batman is also getting a season 2 because, of course, it is. As long as I can keep putting out more Batman, then put out more Batman.
Yeah. That's
it looks like
worked for everybody that's done it so far.
The Batman, we watched a part of it. We watched a lot of trailers, so we couldn't be asked around to watch that whole trailer. But the Batman one was weird because there was a voiceover that sounded a lot like the Joker, but there were a bunch of TVs that had question marks like the Riddler on it.
Because the wording that he used sounded like something the Joker has said before.
Yeah.
And in like a movie, and I'm not sure. It just, Yeah. It was confusing.
But you know what? If you like Telltale, you got plenty of Telltale coming at you. I say good luck on the wait for that Borderlands season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I played Borderlands season 1 with Kayla, and it seemed all right. But they're just not for me. They're just not really for me.
Yeah.
Telltale games.
I'd rather play big booby, what are they called? Games where nothing actually happens and you're just reading dialogue the whole time.
Oh, like the visual novel?
Yeah, I'd rather play big booby visual novels than a Telltale game because I'm a hater.
Okay. Well, hey, Steam has got you covered when it comes to them.
Oh, I know. You should see my wish list.
Visual novels. Speaking of big boobies, there's a game called Observer that
you'd like to observe some big boobies.
There's some big boobies in this trailer.
There are not.
There are so.
There is a girl that is half naked, but her boobies are adequate size.
They're regular size?
They're just no. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. They are totally regular size. Anyway, this game, I don't know. I feel like I've heard of it before, but it's so weird. This is like a cyberpunk horror game.
It's like Blade Runner
with Rutger Hauer in it.
Yeah. I'm down for this.
It looks cool.
This honestly, like, I was psyched for it, and I didn't know it was a horror game.
Yeah,
because I thought it looked cool, and I was like, "Oh man, it's a like a gritty, dark sci-fi game. This looks awesome." And then it's like new horror game coming out, and I'm like, "It's a horror game? Let's do it!"
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's obviously like it's wearing its Blade Runner on its sleeve, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Rutger Hauer is in it, and it looks.
By the way, great voice.
Yeah.
Like, great choice.
But it seems like there's going to be some kind of like cyber going into people's memories, like looking at stuff. I like the imagery. It looks really unique.
The trailer makes it look like a VR game. We actually spent some time trying to figure out if that was the case because it looks so much like a VR game.
I swear, I think it might have VR support.
Okay.
Because I feel like this, when I was looking at the Oculus, was like one of those things where there was a small part of the experience that you could get, but you had to pay for it, and I was like, I ain't paying for 12 minutes, and even though people were like, it's the greatest 12 minutes of your life, and I'm like,
what if it's like a half and half game where you play the game normally in the city, but when you do things in the game, in the trailer, he plugs into people's heads.
Oh, yeah.
And they have like big old headsets on their heads.
Yeah.
So what if when you plug in, you have to put on your VR headset, and then that's that part of the gameplay?
Then I wish
what if somebody was innovative enough to do that?
I wish this company luck trying to sell a game that requires you not only to own a VR headset, but to keep taking it off and putting it back on again.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, we'll find out on August 15th. But, it's been a while since I've seen or heard Rutger Hauer do anything, so let's give it a shot.
That's all their budget went to that.
Yep. So I feel like we need a palate cleanser after all that cyberpunk horror, right? How about like mice and rats that eat each other?
Yep.
That eat meat.
There's some like foxes and wolves in there.
That's true. We're talking about Tooth and Tail, which is really.
What is it, Jeff? Explain it to the kids.
The rats are eating meat, and then like one rat's kid gets taken away and eaten by the other rats, and now it's fucking rat army time. We're all busting out our rat cat fox, wolf, pigeon,
Because there's
owls.
like definitely an owl and like
There's
a lizard.
gecko. There's a what are they called?
that a-
Badger up there.
Oh shit, honey badger don't give a fuck.
Yep, and they're all like running around on a tiny little isometric RTS. There's a big moose.
Yeah, was that
drooling.
a fucking rabies moose?
I think
There's
he was
some
just.
piggies.
This is drooling. Yep, this looks pretty adorable.
They're fighting over. They're having like a 4-way war.
Yeah.
Winner takes all, and by take I mean eats them all.
Hold on. That's a warthog with a flamethrower. That is a warthog with a flamethrower.
Well, I'm in.
We must play this game immediately. This game, I'm going to contact the developer, and we must play this game immediately. If you haven't seen this trailer, go look it up. Tooth and Tail. It's pretty cool.
The art's kind of neat.
Yeah. What is not cool is when a company tries to make playing a VR game look like something that all the hip, cool people
This is
are
like
doing.
when Nintendo is trying to do their trailers and
Yep.
do the like, hey, we're modern people in the demographic that Nintendo wants to sell to. This is
Oh, Jesus
Marvel's
God.
version.
Oh my God! This is an Oculus VR game.
Mhm.
It's set in the Marvel universe, and it's got this whole live action component of like a guy is fixing his motorcycle, and then he texts this artist and with now ? And she says now exclamation
and then,
point.
and then business lady comes in and it's like, fuck yeah, now.
And then, yep, she
Does
comes
it bother
in.
you that the artist is drawing the Hulk and then she is the Hulk in the game?
She's
like
a big
she's
fan of the
obsessed
Hulk.
with the Hulk.
No. Look, you didn't even see all of this. So, this guy at the very beginning.
Does he? Oh, is it a poster in the background?
Yeah, that's
Rocket.
it's
and
Rocket
Groot?
and Groot
Yeah.
poster. And then this lady is painting the Hulk.
Yeah.
And then I just noticed it.
She has a
the
statue in the background.
Business lady has a Ms. Marvel
Ms.
statue
Marvel,
in the
yeah.
background. The first two I can understand are nerds with too much money, right?
Yeah.
A graphic design artist who's
Have you ever met a business person that's like a hardcore nerd, like inside their house, but outside their house totally not?
No.
Because I have.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe they
They
exist.
totally
but
exist where you'll be like, why do you have a Captain America shield on your wall? It's like, oh, because I've read Captain America every day for the entirety of my life.
But I don't know. This is like a multiplayer game where like this is Rocket, Hulk, and Ms. Marvel.
Which is a horrible team up. I don't know why
Yeah.
you would do those three together.
And they're it looks like the gameplay for it just looks like
Jesus. It's
a bunch of like you're standing in place rail shooting stuff.
Yeah, with
But
your superhero powers.
multiplayer, I guess. And then at the end, the artist lady screams like the Hulk, and
Oh,
the
man.
Rocket Raccoon one seems to.
If
like,
there's a trailer of all the trailers we've talked to you about today,
Yeah.
this is the one you should watch because it's fucking hilarious.
it's pretty terrible. It's like shows this artist lady like virtually
Jesus.
hitting a guy on the ground and then throwing him and then going
Yeah.
like the Hulk. I have a VR headset. I've never gone grawl like the Hulk, okay?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much.
Not yet. Jeff.
That's true. I'm still waiting for that Hulk simulator to come out. Anyway, this is called Marvel Powers United VR.
Mhm.
It doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's an Oculus only, that it's not on Vive or PSVR, well, that's
Out the window.
Yep. See ya. I mean, what sucks is that Oculus has the lowest install base right now, so I don't know. It's probably shooting themselves in the foot. Or I don't know, maybe they don't. Whatever. You know what? We're just about out of time, so I'm going to skip. There's a fighting game with Skullomania in it. You can go look it up. It doesn't even have a name yet.
It really does.
It was announced at EVO 2017 as that's going on right now.
Cool.
Release dates. We got some release dates for some games. August is going to get some stuff, and I thought we would just mention it real fast.
Okay.
The remastered version of Pon Pon Patapon is coming out on August 1st. Do you know what Patapon is?
Nope.
It's a PSP game that's a real-time strategy game, but you summon the little your little army, and then you make them do stuff by playing a rhythm game
Ooh.
on one side, and it's like you learn that you'll have one of the buttons is pawn and one of them is pata, and to make them move forward you need to go pata or pata pata pawn, and then they'll move forward, and to make them stop you go pawn pawn pata pawn, and then they stop.
Yeah.
And so it ends up being this real, and then the whole battles have this rhythm where you're issuing these rhythm-based orders the entire time. So, and it's coming to the PS4, which is good because it was a good game. It's going to be Titanic because Nidhogg 2 finally has a release date, and that release date is August 15th.
Oh, great.
So that is going to happen. I'm going to try to bribe Jason.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll see. I think we should just invite all of Rage Select over to have a Nidhogg tournament.
That'd be great.
But I don't think that they would all come.
Yeah. Hey, we need everybody, all hands on deck for this one. Oh, geez, really? What for? Nidhogg 2 came out, and they're like, don't fucking call me on this number.
I don't know you, asshole. And last but not least, Windjammers, which I have never played, but apparently everybody likes it. It's some kind of like frisbee, esports game from back in the olden days. Is getting a release on August 29th on the PS4 as well.
August is going to be an exciting month.
Yep. Not really. Everything is September.
I was using my sincere voice.
Oh, okay.
No.
This month has been. It's difficult to find stuff, and then next month. So it's possible that with the dwindling number of people even watching the dojo these days, that by the time that things pick back up again, that just nobody's going to be watching Rage Select anymore. Tell your friends, but please.
Thanks for the depression.
Please. Well, if you're depressed, I got a thing that'll perk you up. This today or this week or whenever you're listening to this, Doom put out its 6.66 update. And if you have been like, boy, I'd like to play that Doom like Amanda and Jeff are playing on Sequential Saturday on Rage Select, but you know what? It's too expensive. Well, guess what? It's not anymore. It's $15 on every platform, and that includes all of the content that was in the season pass that you now get for free for the multiplayer mode.
Nice.
It's been completely reworked. All of the progression's been reset, so you can jump into the multiplayer mode. It's been more streamlined. You can play that. Play the single-player game like we're playing. Fucking Doom's amazing. It's fucking amazing, and it's $15.
I mean, if you just want a little tasty taste of the game, you can watch our sequential. We have a playlist on our YouTube page. Just go to playlist, watch your playlist, so that we get better hits than Red Dead Redemption, because nobody should be watching that bullshit anyway. You know what I mean?
Also, if I'm not mistaken, there is also yes, you can watch us. And if you want to, after watching us, know what it feels like to play Doom, starting today, ending, it'll be over by the time this podcast comes out. There's an Xbox and Steam, you can play the first 2 levels for free and the multiplayer this weekend.
So hop into your time machines and go back in time.
If you have a PS4, you can play it starting on Thursday, the 27th, and going through Sunday, the 30th. But this weekend ends at 3 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. And I usually put the podcast up at like 7, so it'll already be done at this point. Yeah. It's $15. It's $15.
Just
the main game is like
it's so good.
14 hours long. You get all the black
glory kills.
Yep.
Find out that you're the Doomslayer.
Doomslayer. And last but not least, anybody ever heard of a little band called Nine Inch Nails? They're new, right?
Sounds like a pop band.
Yeah, real happy, upbeat stuff. Apparently, Nine Inch Nails. Okay, this is a really interesting story. They have a song called "Less Than." Okay, and for the video for "Less Than," I can put it on here since we can see it. You don't need to hear the thing because it's just a Nine Inch Nails song. Sorry. I don't really care about Nine Inch Nails anymore. I don't dislike them. I liked them a lot in high school, but they went back and tried to watch it, and it was just a little bit like, eh. So in this video, it's like of a lady playing this game while the lyrics to the game come up. This game that she's playing is called Polybus, and it is a PSVR only game that apparently Trent Reznor liked enough that he contacted Llamasoft, a.k.a. Jeff Minter, and got him to send him one of the only actual PC versions of this game for use in this video, because otherwise this lady should be wearing a headset and not be playing it on a television.
Yeah.
What's more, Polybus is actually a game based off of an urban legend. the urban legend was that there was a game in the 80s in the arcades called Polybus, and that it was like people loved it so much that could be described as addictive.
Mm-hmm.
People would line up for hours to play it, and that like people would get into fist fights when they couldn't play it. And that every so often, Men in Black would come into the arcade and like take data out of it, and that it was an experiment in like brainwashing people.
Have you ever seen a show on Hulu called Dimension 404?
No,
They have an episode based on that.
Based on that
exact
concept.
idea set in the 80s.
And I got to tell you, I own Polybus.
Uh-huh.
And this game, you see how it's all fast and like there's all this just shit on the screen?
Yeah.
In VR, I felt like somebody was trying to program me from the
Really?
CIA.
Oh, that's so funny.
Because you get into this thing because it's going forward at like Mach 12.
Yeah.
And there's all these things shooting around everywhere. So yeah, if you want to know what Polybus is like, go watch this video. It's actually a pretty decent.
Man, this girl's in the zone. She's got that I'm not going to blink until I'm fucking done
Yeah.
glaze over her eyes.
Well, it's funny. It's almost a little bit like the Star Trek game where it's like it starts to get to the point where you feel like the game is playing itself and you're just kind of watching it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to answer some questions. So stick around and we will talk to you in a moment. And we are back. And it is time for questions.
Can I talk about Valerian first?
It is not time for questions. It is time to listen to Amanda talk. No, it's time for Amanda to tell us about the Valerian movie that came out.
John and I got to see it early. We got to see it on the Monday before it came out, so we were really psyched about it.
Okay. This is the new, what's his
Luc
name?
Besson.
Luc Besson.
Same person who did Fifth Element.
Yeah, but
and some other movie that I can't remember the name of.
He's done a lot of movies, and some of them are bad and some of them are good. So, I might be thinking of the wrong person. No, I might be, let's see. Let's see if I can find out. Anyway, how was it?
So I'm normally the type of person, let me preface this. I'm normally the type of person who will watch a movie, kind of leave going, oh, it was all right, or like it wasn't that bad, and then think about it later, like once the new movie smell wears off, and then really know how I feel about the movie.
Yeah.
And typically that turns into me not liking a movie because I will go and nitpick all the things that are wrong, and then it'll kind of ruin it for me.
Okay.
That's just kind of the way my head goes. There are precious few movies that I can like let go of that sort of thing. This movie I like more and more every time I think about it.
Okay.
It's visually really good looking. We saw it in 3D, and I feel like 3D makes everything a little darker. So for me, it was a little difficult for my eyes. I can't do 3D that well anyway because I have glasses, and I do glasses on my glasses, and sitting off on the edge because it was like a free screening. So like everyone was waiting to get in.
Sure.
So you didn't get the good seats. And there was some editing that I feel like it could have been, some characters could have been taken out. You wouldn't even notice they were gone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a great story. I thought the scope was perfect. Because it felt really grand in the first minute, maybe not even that, 30 seconds. It was exactly what I wanted Mass Effect Andromeda to be.
Okay.
And it's all without words.
Okay.
So I thought it was great. I really, really enjoyed it.
Do you think that it is something that people need to see in the theater? Because of the scope and the special effects and all that stuff?
I think it's worth seeing at least once in theater. I don't know if 3D is worth it. But I do think that because it is digital effects, unless you have a very large or really modern television screen, it's worth it to see it in theaters.
Okay.
I would go matinee, or I'd go where it's cheaper because I personally think movie tickets are too expensive.
Okay.
So
I can see that. I was just looking up, and I was correct. Luc Besson makes hella movies, lots of them. So I think it's funny because people are like, this is a movie from the guy that made Fifth Element. I'm like, you realize between Fifth Element and this movie that he's made just like a shitload of movies, right?
Right. I feel like there's like there's 2 movies that it's Fifth Element and then like one other one, and it's like, but they never talk about that other one kind of thing because it's a bad one. But I could be thinking of something else.
Well, let's see. After the Fifth Element, he did The Messenger, story of Joan of Arc. Angel A, which is a French movie that I've seen where like a angel comes down from heaven and then like falls in love with this hitman, I think. I watched it a long time ago. It came out in
Sounds romantic.
2005. Arthur and the Invisibles. This is just an animated movie.
Yeah.
Arthur and the Revenge of Maltazard.
Okay.
The Extraordinary Adventures of Adelaide Blanc-Sec. Arthur 3, The War of Two Worlds.
Arthur 4, The Reckoning. 2 Arthur, 2 Furious.
Yes. The Lady, which I've never, let's see, is a French-British biographical film starring Michelle Yeoh. Okay. It's a love story.
But like real movies. Like, has he made real movies besides
The Family with...
that was him?
Robert De Niro, Michelle Pfeiffer, Tommy Lee Jones. I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at.
They're like ex-mafia family, and they go on their witness protection.
Okay.
And then it's them like trying to be suburban family. I think this is a movie, and then simultaneously all being very violent people.
Okay.
And it's
I think I've heard about it.
It looked like a really shitty comedy.
Yeah. A movie that I think gets entirely too much flack, Lucy. With
I never saw it.
ScarJo.
That is definitely a everyone hated it because of the people use more than 10% of their brain.
Oh, fuck off. Iron Man isn't a thing either. Like, we go to movies to watch a bunch of shit happen, and people are like, whoa, but that's not how science works.
So John and I were having this conversation about, actually about Valerian, where the only element for me that you have to accept is you have to take when the 2 main characters are talking to each other about how they feel.
Yeah.
You have to take them at their word, because there's not a lot of like proving it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I've accepted dumber things than just believing a character when they say, hey, you, this is how I feel about you.
Right.
And then going, oh, I guess they're telling the truth, because there's never really a point where they're like, he proves that, if that makes sense, without trying not to spoil anything.
Yeah.
If it's a spoiler.
All I know is that everything I've seen with this crazy digital effects with Rihanna in the trailers makes me kind of want to see that movie because it looks kind of crazy. But
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I had something to say and I lost it. So
mail@rachelight.com is the email address, and our first question this week comes in from Paul C., who says, hey, Jeff and famous sauce Amanda. I have a simple question that I've been wanting to ask. I moved out of my family home for the first time in my life to live with my significant other. It was my first step into a new life, and I was scared and nervous leaving home. It's been almost 2 months, and I've adjusted to living with somebody and paying bills. My question is basically, how was your first time moving away from home? Did you live on your own? Roommates? Any stories you'd like to share? We both love your podcast and are both proud Patreon supporters. Keep up the good work. Policy. P.S. What advice do you have for people leaving home for the first time? It's a loaded question, depending on your home life.
Yeah. Run.
Yeah. Well, see, I had the advantage of in the 90s, like I graduated high school and I was going part-time to community college, and then I got a job that paid me entirely too much for being like 18. Like I was making like $17 an hour doing video game testing.
Fucking what?
In like 1996 or 97. And it was literally like a cold call. Like I was at my crappy software rental place job, and somebody was just calling places that had to do with games and software. And they were like, how would you feel about a job playing video games? And I was like, who Lord? I believe in Jesus now, I guess.
Like heavenly light just fell upon you that day. Yeah.
So that at that point, I had for a few months, I had a lot of money, and then it's actually really tragic and not something that I go into, but there's a guy that one of my best friends was a really good friend of his who killed himself, and that friend was in need of a roommate in the apartment that they had, and so I moved in with him, and that was kind of my first time away from home. it was a little strange at first. I mean, like I didn't own anything, and I was living in this kind of
Like
rundown
a fold-out
apartment.
lawn chair that was your couch and your bed.
I had a futon because I'd been sleeping on a futon literally in my parents' house for a while.
Yeah.
So I took that.
How old were you at this time?
This is 18, 19. I
Okay,
was,
yeah, standard.
Yeah. And then, we just did stupid shit after a while. Like, all we would do is just hang around the apartment and like watch movies and like listen to crazy music and smoke cigarettes. And, we'd go to the record store on the weekends and stuff. And we both, because it was the 90s, had pretty good paying tech jobs.
Yeah.
So we ended up exploiting that stupid amount of money. I could say that there was definitely a lot of trepidation early on, because this is actually kind of a strange thing, right? But like when I moved out of my parents' house, this was back when computers were expensive.
Yeah.
I didn't own a computer. Like I used my parents' computer, but when I moved out, I didn't have a computer.
Yeah.
My roommate, he didn't have a computer, so we watched, and we were too poor to afford. Well, we were too lazy to afford cable is maybe the thing. I don't know.
So like nobody wanted to make the call to the cable company.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we just had like a stack of VHS tapes that we would watch over and over again. Like we would watch the Blues Brothers just over and over and over again.
That's a good one to watch over and over and over again.
And we would go on the weekends and we would get CDs, and eventually I went out and bought a stereo, and I eventually got a computer and ended up moving it around. But I could say that like the first couple of days on my own, it was a little difficult just because, I slept in the same bedroom for most of my life.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I'm somewhere else. But then eventually, my friend and I, we ended up getting into a bunch of shenanigans. We lived within walking distance of a Whataburger. That was where I'd never been to a Whataburger before.
That's funny.
There was a day when everything iced over and we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are we going to eat? And he was like, let's go to Whataburger. And I'm like, oh no, I don't think they're very good. He's like, when have you eaten there? And I'm like, my dad told me they're not very good. And he was like, let's go get some chicken fingers. And I was just like, oh my God, I love Whataburger.
That's funny.
But it's actually kind of interesting because, for the first several years that I was out on my own, I wasn't old enough to drink.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until several years later, I turned 21, and then I went to Europe. And then when I came back from Europe, that we were able to drink. But I didn't because I just didn't. Like, I didn't drink. And then over time, I had this house that became a kind of a crazy zone of wackadoo. You let a bunch of 20-year-olds live in a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs.
Party house.
Yes, we didn't mow the lawn. We didn't do anything.
Yeah.
We didn't keep up with it. We all played Counter-Strike 24 hours a day.
Jesus.
We ended up
I
working
bet
at the
it
same
smelled
place.
great in there.
There was a
Like a faint Axe body spray Febreze combination.
No, none of those things actually existed at this point. So
just dryer sheets on the floor in the hopes that they had absorbed something.
No, see, here's the thing: is that was in the early days. We smoked inside, like because we did.
Oh, so it just smelled like
So it
cigarettes.
just smelled like everything smelled like cigarette
Oh,
smoke.
yeah,
So,
that's fine. I like the smell of cigarette smoke.
But anyway, yeah, I think that when you move out on your own, I think that my advice, at least, and I'm let you
Go
talk,
for it. You do you.
is it's okay. Like you shouldn't. It's okay to move out and then feel like I feel like there's at least for me and some other people that I've talked to, there will probably be a moment where you think to yourself, "Oh my God, I've made a terrible mistake. This isn't cool. I don't want to do this." But you just
But there's no turning back.
But it really helps if you move out on your own and you have a roommate.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty solitary person by default. So when I ended up finally moving into a place by myself, that really didn't ever bother me all that much. And now I live alone for the most part.
I mean, you have the dog.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Archer's here.
Your
So
roommate, Archer.
that's true. But yeah, I think that it can be a really good experience. And then you also have that whole thing of just like, we need like some fold out chairs, like, cause we don't we own like 4 pieces of furniture. So people are coming and we need to go get some fold out chairs,
Yeah.
right? So that people have a place to sit. Like for the first 2 years, you're just going to be buying shit at Target and Walmart constantly.
Always like last minute, like, oh, somebody spilled something on the carpet. I don't have anything to clean a carpet.
Like, fuck, we need a vacuum cleaner. Like, I don't have one. Do you have one? Like, oh, I've got this dumb rolly one that doesn't really work very
yeah.
well. or like we need like washcloths or some bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Clothes hangers.
Yeah, dude. For a while, like every paycheck, I would have to buy something new. Because there was always something I forgot.
Yep. That's what I'm going through now because I've been getting into cooking, right?
Yeah.
And so every paycheck, I'm trying to figure out a new thing. And right now, I'm really, really, really trying to decide between a food processor or like a standing up kitchen mixer or like a few different, because I can't buy everything,
all at once.
Yeah, because it's really expensive.
Splurge on your kitchen?
No. I bought like 2 baking pans and then 2 bread loaf pans in the same month, and that was like $60 worth of pans.
Yeah.
This is crappy HEB brand pans. So, anyway.
You didn't splurge on the Walmart brand pans?
I try not to walk into a Walmart unless it is absolutely necessary.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking hate Walmart with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns.
Understandable. I was 23 when I moved out. And I went hardcore, as a lot of people will move out and stay relatively close to family.
Yeah.
All my family is in California. All my family is like within 10 minutes of each other, driving distance. All very close. We spend every weekend together. I see my aunts and uncles all the time when I lived in California. I moved to Texas. I ran the fuck away.
That apartment here was your first?
Yeah, that was my first.
Oh,
that was
I didn't know
first
that.
Time. Yeah,
I did not know that.
23 years old. I got. I think I got the news that I was moving over here when I was 22, or like barely turned 23, and then spent a couple of months getting an apartment sight unseen. I sent a friend over to an apartment complex and was like, "Ask him if I can have it." First advice: don't do that. Do a little more research, because I had no idea. I didn't know any neighborhoods.
Yep.
No one that I was working with helped me because they were all like busy doing other shit.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be like, hey, where's a good place to live? No one would answer me. So I had to actually like find other people to help me out. And I moved, and so it went from and it was a fairly busy house. It was I lived in a house with my mom, my dad, like several rando animals, depending on what time, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece. And so the only way I could get any, what made me a night owl is that the only time I could get any fucking silence in that house is by waiting for everyone else to go to sleep, and then I have the house to myself.
Sure.
And it would be dead quiet unless my dad had the TV on too loud and the neighbors were angry, and I have to go and wake them up and be like, why is your TV on so loud?
Yeah.
And then I moved into my own apartment, and it was quiet.
Yeah.
The first thing I did, this is so dumb. The first thing I did, the first night that I was there on my own, because like my parents helped me move and they stayed for a couple of days. I filled a glass of water, put it in the middle of the apartment, and I left. And then I came back, and it was still there. Nobody touched it. There was nothing, and it was like the most exciting thing in the world to me. I can't do anything. I know it's weird.
I'm just like, so for ghosts?
No, it was just the fact that everything that goes on in that apartment was mine.
Right.
And it was just a weird thing for me, because it'd be like in my house, you would grab something to drink, put it down, and then run to the restroom real quick, and all of a sudden the glass is gone because mom thought you were done with it and she's washing it. And you're like fucking 23-year-old, like I can clean my own shit. Just like stop touching all my stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm an adult. Do you know how hard it is to get laid when you're 23 years old and still living with your parents in a room that's next to your parents' room? I never had sex in that house. Mom and Dad, I never had sex. They're probably listening. I never had sex in that house. I couldn't do it. I could not be one of those like, it's just quiet sex time. No, I couldn't do it. You guys are fucking listening in. I know you were listening in. It's gross, you fucking weirdos. So, so it was amazing. Meanwhile, I don't even think I had sex in my apartment because I was very like out sex. Anyway, I'm more open about that stuff than a lot of people would be comfortable with. But for me, it was just an adjustment of having an actual support net of the entirety of my family, of like 14 aunts and uncles, I think, on both sides, combined with my dad's side and my mom's side.
Yeah.
There were always, like anytime something went wrong with my car, there were like 4 uncles I could go to and 3 cousins that I could ask for help. And anytime, there was like an issue one way or another, I had people. And then I was on my own, and the best they could do is offer money, which often was not the thing that I needed.
Right.
And so I think it's important for everyone to try to live on their own or as close to on their own at least once, even if it's just for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Because you really come into your own that way, I think, because, I don't know. I didn't ever think I would be the type of person that could sleep in an apartment by myself with my bedroom door open.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, but scary monsters are going to get me.
Right.
But now I'm an adult, and the worst thing that could happen is some kind of murderer.
Yeah.
And a door's not going to stop them. Nor would it stop a monster in retrospect. But,
Jason Voorhees is both a monster and a murderer. He goes right through doors.
Yeah, I could have been murdered by him. So, but I don't know what the best advice is. It's just that you need to be, the only thing I have as far as advice is living on your own is don't live beyond your means. If you're on your own, it's really easy to be like, mom's not here, or like dad or whoever authority is not here to tell me not to buy this, so I'm going to buy it, whatever, fuck it.
Yeah.
I have the money and I'm an adult. This is me proving I'm an adult, and I appreciate the way that feels, and I know exactly how it feels to be able to go out and do that, but don't live beyond your means. Like, really, really know how much money you can spend and spend that money and not anything more. Because the worst thing is living on your own and needing help.
Yeah.
And as far as living with your significant other, communication, talk.
Do not let things fester. That's actually good advice for roommates too.
Yeah. The whole thing of like, don't go to bed angry is the most true advice I've ever gotten from anyone, and it's a cliche, but it's true that you really shouldn't. And I brought up the couple, so you're looking at the question.
That's all right.
Wondering if you thought I was like making up a second half of it, but
no.
That's just part of my advice for if you're going to move out. If you're going to move out and be with your significant other, I honestly think don't go to sleep angry is a great thing to keep in mind. And I mean, it's one. Don't like keep an argument going, but definitely like cool down, allow the cool down to happen, and then talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't stay mad. That's stupid, especially about dumb shit. And then it turns into this thing where it's like, but the fucking towels, Jeff, the fucking towels. And it's like, no, if you just go, hey man, you left towels on the floor. Maybe next time pick it up.
When I lived with a roommate, we would go for extended periods of time without talking to each other, the longest of which was about 7 months. Over the fact that I took some crackers when I was hungover and didn't replace them for 2 weeks. And then that was the fulcrum for all the rest of the things to become a thing. And for me to go, it's not my cat. I'm not going to fucking take care of your cat, woman. So
that's great.
Next up, this one comes in from Joseph, who says, hello, Jeff and Amanda. Recently, an old 90s adventure game called Toonstruck was re-released on Steam. This is one of those adventure games like Phantasmagoria, where they had live-action actors over CG backgrounds. Only with those games, we associate really bad acting to them. But Toonstruck featured Christopher Lloyd as the main character, as well as Ben Stein in a minor role.
Not bad acting, good acting, like Christopher Lloyd.
Marty! I was somewhat shocked to find this out because Christopher Lloyd is such an iconic character actor. Not much of a question, just kind of interesting. However, what current character actor would you love to see in a crazy adventure game? Praise the dong, and that's from Joseph. Current character actors that we would like to see in a video game. I remember this game. It was very strange. They used to do...
He looks drunk.
Oh, yeah, he looks terrible. Also... Yeah, no, I remember this because it was like a point-and-click adventure game, except that you were Christopher Lloyd walking around in like this.
That's great.
Kind of Toontown. Is this all Vincent Van Gogh? Is that all him doing stuff?
Jesus, what am I? What?
Yeah, this is a little strange. You guys should all go watch this.
Just watch the trailer.
Just watch the trailer for it. It's pretty freaking crazy.
I'm trying to think of a character actor.
Like somebody with Nicolas Cage.
Oh man, that'd be a good one actually.
Just Nicolas Cage freaks out in a video game.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I think so.
Like just any crazy actor, like like a Gary Busey point and click adventure game would be fucking hilarious.
Was Gary Busey the one that did those Amazon ads where it was just like, he's like, yeah, you can never find anything on TV. I got this thing now. You just talk to
Amazon Fire or whatever it was. Yeah, I think that was him, actually.
It was just Gary Busey for 20 seconds, just like, I love this thing. I don't know, Gary Busey, whatever. Like, bye.
It's great.
I'm trying to think of maybe Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Voice actor. I'm trying to think of who would like a live action like make a crazy adventure game and then put in.
Yeah, I don't like.
Question mark. Outside of Nicolas Cage, I'm trying to think of other people that are
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. Let's try to think of comics like who are good, like really funny people that I really like that are in like movies and shows. Yeah, Will Ferrell, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Will Ferrell. You'd probably do something good with a Will Ferrell game.
Yeah,
probably not.
It depends. I don't know. Adventure games are so odd. I'm just like looking at like movies, trying to think of who are actors. I can't think of any actors.
I just
anymore.
Googled actors and I got a whole list of. I'm trying to think because you said comedians and I was like, what comedian is?
Who's your favorite comedian
right now? Oh man, all my favorite comedians are dead.
Bobcat Goldthwait.
Oh God, no. Although I would have enjoyed a Rodney Dangerfield game.
Yeah,
that would be fucking phenomenal.
I'm having a hard time. Character actors. The older I get, the more I just kind of like stop keeping up with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of who is funny.
Joe Rogan, the game.
Joe Rogan's a mixed bag for me. I don't know. He's a little odd. Like half the time, yeah. The 25 best comedians of 2016. Jordan Peele.
Danny Trejo video game.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Right?
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton the video game. Oh wait, that's Doom.
That's true.
She's horrifying. I mean, it's not her, but it is her.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this list. I'm just looking at comedians. I just typed comedians into Google image search, and I'm going down this list, and I'm just like, man, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know that I have an answer to this question.
What about like a Anna Faris, Ryan Reynolds, point and click romantic adventure between the two? Because they're both comedians. They're both super crazy characters. And they're both adorable, and they're married.
I could see that.
Chris Pratt and Anna Faris.
Chris Pratt and Anna Faris?
Yeah. Did I say Ryan Reynolds? Yeah, I changed my mind. Chris Pratt and Anna Faris. Okay. They're actually married.
Okay. No, actually, wait a minute. Hold on. You say Chris Pratt. Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, buddy adventure game, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Have you watched Sisters?
No, I still have not seen it. You made me watch a scene with John Cena in it, and I was like, "Oh man, it's on my list." And then I just never watched it. I think it's on Netflix.
I think that movie was really fun. Mm-hmm. I think I also watched what was the other one? Baby Mama. Mm-hmm. Was not. I didn't really care that much about. Like they haven't seemed to click very well in the movie realm, in my opinion. But Sisters worked out really well. It was just like on HBO Go. Watched it one night. I was like, yeah, this is good. This is fine. Anyway, our next one's coming in from Jack's Axe, who says, "What up, home fries?" Jack's Axe here. In what case do you think that the open world aspect of games have a negative impact on them? And we'll be better off.
We answered this in Doom.
Oh, we did.
We answered this exact question in Doom.
All right.
I refuse to answer it. Go watch Doom.
Go watch Doom. Benjamin writes in and says, "Dear Rage Select, because of the upcoming Wolfenstein, the new Colossus game coming out this year, will you guys be playing the last two Wolfenstein games for sequential Saturday after you are done with Doom?"
How long does it take to play a Wolfenstein game? Would it even be possible to play 2 Wolfenstein games?
Not in the time. Well, if we stuck to hour-long episodes, okay. The Old Blood is like a spin-off that's like 4 or 5 hours long, but Wolfenstein is like 12 to 13. So or at least that's what I remember.
I feel like those would end up being Patreon sequential.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I guess Benjamin is asking because he didn't get a chance to play those games before, and is interested now in Wolfenstein 2. I mean, I don't know if you've already played Wolfenstein 1. It is pretty funny. It is pretty fun, and I do like that game quite a bit. I like Doom more. This is obvious.
Oh, we're not going to drop Doom anytime soon. We're going to finish Doom.
We're like 3 episodes away from the end of Doom, and we're just going to stop playing it so that we can go play Wolfenstein. I did the math, and if we don't start it now...
Do you know how mad people would be if we dropped another sequential? We're like, man, not going to finish it.
I do. No, actually, what we're going to do is we're just going to make the last 2 episodes Patreon exclusive.
Oh, my God. How mad would people be?
What a dick move.
I would even go further and be like, oh, you got to be one of those like $20 a month the patron backers.
Yep.
I'm kidding. Please send your hate to mail@rachelack.com.
Oh my God, this one's another one about Wolfenstein. Katie J says, "Dear Jeff and Amanda, that Wolfenstein though, what sort of cool shit do you think will be in it? It's called The New Colossus and so shares the title of the poem on the Statue of Liberty. How cool would it be if the game had a weaponized Lady Liberty? And would you like an addition to the game to be something similar to Doom in that it encourages you to get up close and personal for various ammo or shields?" Thanks for reading my question. Dankeschön, auf Wiedersehen, your loyal patron, Katie J.
I think everything should be a lot more like Doom.
Yeah. Like going to the store, laundry, Cheetos, just pretty much everything.
I feel like Cheetos already carries enough hellfire within it that we don't really need any more Doom and Cheetos.
I think that's flaming hot Cheetos.
I don't eat any other kind of Cheetos except for flaming hot Cheetos.
Why not? The originals are cheesy and delicious.
I don't need cheesy and delicious. I need flaming hot and
it's
pain.
It's the cheese that goes... Why do you need pain in your mouth?
I don't know. It's just I like what I like, Jeff.
What about cheese balls?
No?
No?
Not really.
They cut up the side of your mouth, though. Then you get the blood. You get pain, right?
Yeah, but I could just chew on my mouth. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't really need cheese balls to stand in the way of my mouth.
I think that weaponized Lady Liberty just makes me think of that Doctor Who episode, and I don't know that I want to...
And that just brings up a lot of emotional issues.
Some kind of stupid things. Let's see.
What do you think is going to be in Wolfenstein? Colossal.
Mechanized? No, wait. There's no mechanized Hitler. So this is America that is under Nazi rule in like the 1960s with B.J. Blazkowicz. John actually turned me on to, I think, what would end up being a spoiler for the game about something that may happen about halfway through, but I'm not going to talk about that.
You don't support spoilers in this here part.
This is a weird thing. Sometimes if you're a person that's really good at conjecture, then you just be like, hey, I think that this might happen.
Yeah.
And then it's not really a spoiler because you don't know, but you're playing the game and you're just like, God damn it, he was right.
Yeah, sometimes that sucks too, though, because then you have that narrative already telling you. So then when they drop the hints and you have somebody already piece it together, they just don't know.
Yeah. Well, in the last game, there was references to like pop music and pop culture from that time period. So there was like the German Beatles, basically, that were like singing Beatles songs, but in German.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some Americana, some 60s Americana. Oh my God. I would love to see it talks a little, this is a vague thing about the first game, but that game is like 2 years old. So I'm not really too concerned about people maintaining their integrity with that game. But like, I would love it if there was some like 1960s American pop stars that were like part of the underground that you were like, if fucking Elvis Presley is in that game to pick up a machine gun. Also in the trailer, there's a part where the guy drops acid and starts seeing little thing. Have you watched the trailer for New
No, I
Wolfenstein:
don't
New
remember.
Colossus?
You might have showed it to me, but I do not recall it.
Oh, it's great.
Half of the shit you showed me looks like somebody's taken acid, so it's hard to gauge.
No, this is like the BJ Blazkowicz's pregnant wife and like this other guy are like breaking into something, and right before they go in, he like drops acid, and as he's like walking with his machine gun, these little like elves start popping out and stuff.
Yeah,
and he's like,
was that not? Did they show that trailer at E3?
Yeah.
That's when I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
That's why, because that was
it's the one that
forever.
starts with the like little Heidi girl with the big robot. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, and then there's definitely in that trailer there seems to be some allusion to like some blaxploitation stuff, some like 60s blaxploitation stuff. I think that would be great. Yeah, I mean mostly just like it's been a long time, but it's still really satisfying to shoot Nazis in video games. I mean, it just doesn't.
Yeah,
It's just so easy to just be like, blam blam. This is fun.
Yeah.
So, I hope there's a montage at the end of that trailer from E3 that's just like a symphony of fucking like heads exploding and
Nice.
people getting murdered and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Is there anything in particular that you think would be interesting?
I never
to see?
played a Wolfenstein game, so I'm not like, oh man, you know what I really want to see? I don't have any like. I know I like the trailer, so if it plays like what the trailer looked like,
I'm pretty sure that Wolfenstein: The New Order didn't have Mecha Hitler in it. Yeah, no, because it's after the war. It's after the war.
So what you're saying is we need Mecha Hitler?
We need old man Mecha Hitler. It was Mecha Hitler in that one. Oh, hold on.
Jesus, you're gonna be on a weird ass list with all your Google searches.
Oh, please! I'm already on that list. Is he in that game? Hitler? Wolfenstein: The New Order. Hitler? Oh, apparently it's an Easter egg. What the heck is this a picture of? Sorry.
Visual
Oh no.
comedy.
Okay, this guy I believe is was the bad guy. This Death's Head guy is the person that you kill at the end. Oh, so is there?
Why does it look like you're panicking with coffee?
I think that this is part of the game, and this is Hitler is like in a room, but you can't actually go into the room. Okay, I don't think Hitler was in the game. If that's the case, Mecha Hitler, because he was the bad guy at the end of the first game, the very first Wolfenstein, and I would like to see Mecha Hitler and blow it up.
Okay.
I want to see them do what they did with the Cyber Demon in Doom to Mecha Hitler from original Wolfenstein, because it was just like this walking Rock'em Sock'em robot suit with a tank on the top with Hitler's head in it.
Oh God.
So, all right, one more question.
Okay.
Eli says, congratulations, you've unlocked an achievement. This question. Greetings, Jeff and Amanda. I'm a huge Destiny fan, by the way, and I hope to see you guys cover the beta this week. Ever since the reveal event, non-fans of the game have been hating on it, claiming it's Destiny 1.5 or looks like DLC. I followed every bit of coverage closely, and as someone who has spent over 1,000 hours in the game, my question to those who never liked Destiny is, what does a proper sequel look like? It needs to be a continuation, of course, but still familiar to the original, like Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2. Thanks for reading my question, Jeff. Sincerely, I appreciate you always for being the main influence to me to get me into things like Let's Plays and gaming videos. That's why I'll always support everything you do. Well wishes, Eli.
Ooh.
Nice. So what does a proper sequel to Destiny, how is it different from Destiny 1, I guess is the question.
I haven't played the beta. You have, sir.
Well, no, I think that what he's asking, though, is what do you envision as somebody who doesn't, you're probably the best person to answer this, is as somebody who's maybe just seen Destiny, but not really spent a lot of time playing it, what would you be interested in seeing in a sequel as opposed to what the people who have already played the game for an extended period of time would be expecting?
I feel like I'd be the opposite of the best person to answer. Not that I'm like trying to play ping pong with the question.
Sure.
Like, no, you answer it. But isn't a sequel more for the people that have already played it as opposed to bringing in new people?
I don't think so.
You think it's well, then it has to. The only thing, and this is true for any sequel, is that it has to be open enough about its story that I can get into what's happening without feeling like I have to play the first game. But be fun enough and give me enough of the whatever the benefits of that gameplay are. To make me want to go back and play the first one as well.
So I feel like it does that because, and this is a spoiler for Destiny 2, but if you've watched our video, you've already seen it. If you watch the trailer, you've already seen it.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that happens is Destiny takes place in this like little city. It's like the last city on Earth where everybody who still remains lives, where you get all your missions. It's like your hub that you keep going back to.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that happens at the beginning of Destiny 2 is you're flying back from a mission, and when you get there, the city's under attack, and these forces have managed to get close enough to start wrecking shop.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go down there and they're blowing up all of this city, and it's a big war zone, and you're fighting these things. And then at the end, the big bad guy grabs you and depowers you and kind of throws you over the cliff,
Mm-hmm.
where you're going to have to get together with the survivors of this to try to rebuild. So I think that's a perfect framing device for a sequel, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to know anything about the first one to be like, well, you got a robot guy and this lady, a bunch of other guys, a bunch of aliens attacked, and you don't have to know the in-depth lore of the first game in order to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanically, I just want them to have more story, and it seems like they have more story. Like they have more cutscenes, they have more story. I really, really, really hope that they are not. I can't remember for the life of me because it's super late. The first game locked up a lot of the backstory behind Bungie's website.
Yeah.
You would get a thing, and it would say, "You've unlocked a new story bit. Go to Bungie's website to read that."
Yeah.
And there are long stretches of Destiny where you're just doing grunt work, where you're just like driving through an area trying to find a certain type of enemy or a certain type of resource or doing whatever. Perfect place to be like, hit a hotkey and start playing narration.
Audio log or
narration, somebody reading a codex of the game
Mm-hmm.
to be like, well, in the 40th century, then the Cabal were a thing, and their ruthless hierarchy, blah, 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 right? Instead of hiding all that shit on another, not even in the game, not even like hit the start button, but like on a website.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that rubbed me so raw, because they obviously paid somebody to write like a shitload of great content for the game, and then it's all on the website. None of it's in the game. Halo does the same fucking thing. I don't know why Bungie does this. Like, whether they want people to be able to just have a pure like shooter experience, but to me it seems like that story really punches your experience up because you care about people, places, and things as opposed to just going through the motions of kill 5 rats, get the things, bring them back to so-and-so, and he will give you a gun. You know? I don't know. Eli, I feel like Halo 2 had a thing where they introduced dual wielding, where smaller guns could be dual wielded, but I think that it like you couldn't throw a grenade or you couldn't melee if you were had 2 guns. I think I would have liked to have seen something like that. I'm not sure there's not entirely that's not in the game. In the beta, all I saw were a couple different new gun types that seemed like they were okay.
Mm-hmm.
But really what I'm looking for is story. I really want them to put me dead center in the middle of a story and cut down on the amount of like just dead time in the game where you're just driving around doing bullshit quests.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
Okay.
That's our last question. So there we go. It's a slightly shorter podcast, but you know what? Send some questions. Send them into mail@rageselect.com. Or we could just start doing 1-hour podcasts where we do the news and then go, see ya. I mean, that's what people want. I'm like, I don't know either. Anyway, thanks everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed Red Dead. We got another brand new video coming out tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Splatoon 2. So with that, good night.